The day my son-in-law looked me in the eyes and said, "This house belongs to us now," something inside me went completely quiet. My daughter stood beside him without saying a single word. I felt my heart break, but I refused to let them see it. Instead, I smiled, invited them to sit down, and served them fresh coffee. Along with the cups, I quietly placed one sealed envelope on the table. Neither of them had any idea that the first page inside would change everything they believed. If emotional family stories with unforgettable twists and meaningful life lessons speak to your heart, I'd truly appreciate you subscribing to Behind Dad. Before we continue, I'd also like to mention that the pictures shown throughout this story are creative visual dramatizations inspired by these events. They are not actual photographs from my family's life. My name is James. My late wife, Margaret, and I spent nearly 40 years paying for that old family home. Every brick carried a memory. We celebrated birthdays there, welcomed our daughter Emily into the world there, and held Margaret's hand in the living room during the final weeks of her life. After she passed away, the house became the last place where I still felt close to her. Losing it was never an option. Emily married Ryan 2 years after Margaret's funeral. At first, he treated me with kindness and respect. Slowly, though, his attitude changed. Every visit became another conversation about selling the property. He claimed the neighborhood had become valuable and insisted I was wasting money by living alone. I always answered politely that I intended to stay there for the rest of my life. Ryan would smile, but I could see disappointment hiding behind his eyes. One Saturday morning, I walked into my own kitchen and found professional movers carrying furniture toward the front door. Ryan greeted me with a confident smile and calmly announced that they had already arranged everything. "You'll be happier in a retirement commune." Ryan smiled as if the envelope meant nothing. He took a slow sip of coffee, leaned back in his chair, and casually opened it. I watched his confidence disappear after reading only a few lines. His hand froze. The smile vanished from his face. Without saying a word, he passed the papers to Emily. She looked confused at first, but as her eyes moved across the page, tears immediately filled them. The room became so quiet that even the movers stopped wrapping furniture and looked toward the kitchen. The first page wasn't a threat. It was a certified copy of a legal agreement my late wife and I had signed years earlier. The family home had been placed into an irrevocable trust with strict conditions. While I was alive, no one could sell it, transfer it, rent it, or remove property from it without my written approval. Any attempt to do so would automatically trigger legal action and financial penalties against everyone involved. Margaret insisted on those conditions after watching another family lose everything because of greed. At the time, I thought she was worrying too much. Now I realized she had seen something I hadn't. Ryan tried to laugh it off and claimed the papers couldn't possibly be real. Before I could answer, my attorney, Michael, walked through the front door exactly on schedule. He greeted everyone politely and placed another folder on the table containing the original trust documents, certified copies, and a court order instructing anyone removing property from the house to stop immediately. One by one, the movers quietly set every box back where it belonged. I looked toward Emily. She couldn't stop crying. Ryan kept insisting everything would be fine if we just talked privately. But my daughter finally stepped away from him. She slowly admitted she had believed Ryan when he told her I had already agreed to sell the house. Then she looked directly at me and whispered, "Dad, I found something in Ryan's office last week. I think he was planning some tea." Emily's words hit me harder than anything Ryan had said that morning. I could see the guilt in her eyes. She admitted she had been too afraid to confront him because every time she questioned him, he blamed stress or promised he would explain everything later. A week earlier, while looking for an insurance document in his home office, she had found a locked folder hidden inside his desk. Curiosity got the better of her. When she opened it, she discovered paperwork with my address, photographs of my house, and several unsigned loan applications listing the property as future collateral. My stomach tightened. Ryan immediately tried grabbing the folder from Emily's hands, but Michael stepped between them and calmly told him not to touch anything. Emily handed the documents to my attorney. As he carefully examined each page, the expression on his face grew more serious. Some papers contained forged signatures that looked disturbingly similar to mine. Others showed emails discussing plans to refinance the house after transferring ownership. My hands started shaking. This wasn't just family pressure anymore. Someone had been preparing to use my home for financial gain without my knowledge. Ryan finally broke his silence. He insisted he never intended to hurt me. He claimed he had fallen into overwhelming debt after a failed business investment and believed selling or borrowing against my house was the only way to keep creditors away from Emily. He said he was trying to save his marriage, but every excuse sounded weaker than the last. Emily stared at him in disbelief. The man she trusted had built their future on lies. Just then, Michael received a phone call. He listened quietly before ending the conversation and looking directly at Ryan. "That was the county recorder's office," he said. "Someone attempted to file ownership documents using Mr. James's forged signature this morning." Ryan's face turned completely white. Before anyone could speak again, there was another. The moment Ryan saw the detectives, every bit of confidence disappeared. They politely asked him to step outside and answer a few questions about forged property documents and financial records. He tried to explain that everything was a misunderstanding, but the evidence sitting on my kitchen table spoke louder than his words. Emily covered her face and began crying. I wanted to be angry, yet all I could think about was how easily one lie had grown into so many others. After the detectives left with Ryan, the house became painfully quiet. Emily slowly walked over to me, holding another envelope I had never seen before. She admitted she found it hidden inside Ryan's desk weeks earlier, but had been too frightened to show me. It was addressed in my late wife Margaret's handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. Margaret wrote that a family's greatest danger would never come from strangers. It would come from the moment fear or greed became stronger than honesty. She asked Emily to remember that a house was never the real inheritance. Character was. Emily hugged me tighter than she ever had as an adult. Through tears, she apologized for believing Ryan instead of trusting the father who had spent his entire life protecting her. I didn't pretend the pain disappeared overnight. Trust takes time to rebuild. But I also knew that holding on to bitterness would only destroy what Ryan had failed to take. Over the following months, Emily helped restore the house, ended every financial connection with Ryan, and slowly earned back the trust she had broken through honesty instead of empty promises. Now, every morning I sit on the same front porch with a cup of coffee, grateful that the house is still filled with memories instead of regret. Looking back, I understand that the envelope didn't save my home. The truth did. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments because your words may help someone choose honesty before it's too late. Share this story.